البحيرة الأول كانت ميتها حلوة تشرب منها، فالبحيرة لو فضلت على كده احنا نتمنى أحفادنا يسيبوا البحيرة ويهجروا، عشان البحيرة اتمت على كده ما فيهاش أكل عيش، طب هياكلوا منين؟ إنما كده الأحفاد ما هتلقاش عيش طالما البحيرة ما فيهاش سمك.
This documentary short is about Lake Qarun and how, due to the global warming and pollution, the once beautiful and sustaining lake for many communities is now polluted and the fish population has decreased significantly. I really like that they really touched on not just the environmental factors, but also the cultural factors that are affected too. Many people have depended on this lake for generations. And with all the pollution, it's created a huge issues not only for them, but not only because of the scarcity of food, but also people had to now leave their communities and go to other regions. Overall, I think it was a really well explained documentary, and the story they laid out came very full circle in the end.
The Lost Lake. I was really moved by this, and I think it just kind of goes to show how much the climate change is affecting people. And I think it's one of those things that the more we talk about it, the bigger it actually seems. And as we get kind of further along into climate change, I think it's one of those phrases that we've heard about for years, and we've heard that, like, oh, it's going to have these kind of detrimental effects. And after hearing that kind of message for so long, I think that in general people can kind of be a little bit numb to it, just because they've heard it again and again and again. I think they just kind of like write it off, or they're like, oh, I've always heard that, but it doesn't really sink in anymore. But when you actually have real stories of entire villages, like an entire lake that is now fish free due to climate and pollution and, you know, everything else, and overfishing, and just kind of all of the things that we're hearing about more and more and more consistently, that then the entire village basically got abandoned, and all of these people that had been fishermen and all these people that had lived in that village for even generations now have to suddenly figure out a new place to live, a new way of life, even if they're still trying to be a fisherman, but they're now trying to do it in a completely new setting. And being a fisherman in a lake versus being a fisherman in the sea is a very, very different thing. And I think it just really goes to show you the real world impact, and it humanizes things, but it also puts it into a perspective that people can more easily understand and more easily digest. So I thought it was really, really impactful and really, really well thought out, and the information was given to us in a really easy to understand way. Like I said, that is really, really relatable, at least like to a human being, and I really, like I said, found this very impactful and a very important message to get out, because I feel like these are the kinds of stories that the more people talk about, the more that information gets out there, it brings it to a realistic example, and it makes a farther impact than just hearing these kind of phrases that we've heard again and again and again.
The Lost Lake. Beautiful cinematography. I mean, really, it just automatically captures your attention. And all of the interviews were so informative and really educational, and they were fantastic. I loved the interview where the interviewee was making the net. It was just fascinating to see how those nets are made. The waste disposal and the death of all of the marine life in the lake, it just proves how very important it is to take care of our natural resources. And this film drove that home. So great job.